Okay. Show me.
Hi there guys, welcome back to the GepRC channel. Thank you very much for tuning in for a long-term review of this here quadcopter. It is the GepRC Cygnet. Cygnet, French name? Yeah, and this is the 3-inch version. It is also not the Pro version. And long story short, if you are considering this quadcopter or one of its versions, I think this is the one to get. From watching other people's videos and flying mine of course, I think you want the 3-inch version because more efficient, easier to tune, longer flight time. And the Pro version, well, its major benefit is simply that it eats more battery. So shorter flight time. Yeah, actually one of the other benefits of the Pro version, oh, I've bent one of the props. Hot damn. Okay, yeah, one of the other benefits of the Pro version is that it comes with normal prop adapters. Single screw prop adapters. That is definitely a benefit of that version. But still, I'd go for this one. Even though I do not like this prop mounting method. Okay, so in this video I'm going to give you my long-term review. I flew this quadcopter today actually, and while flying it I thought, well, this quadcopter definitely deserves another video, a long-term review. Because it's a very nice quadcopter. You are probably aware of other cinematic 3-inch quadcopters with a stretched center frame. I still think this is the best one and the best looking one. That's part of the reason why I ordered it approximately half a year ago. I love its looks. And if you are familiar with GepRC, they make very nice frames. And they make nice looking frames. The best out there, maybe? To that I have to add that GepRC basically only makes frames. The electronics they simply order from other companies. There's nothing wrong with that, but just so you know. Right? Okay, and in a couple of minutes I'll actually switch to today's recordings. I made a couple of HD recordings because this quadcopter obviously has a Runcam Split Mini 2S in it. And yeah, one of the benefits of this frame is that it has a lot of room in its frame. As you can see, 2 stacks. Over here you've got the normal flight stack, and over here you've got the Runcam mini split stack and a receiver. But even with that there's room to spare. Yeah, so I've got the R9M receiver version, as you can see. In hindsight I didn't really need to do that, but I wanted to try that system, right? And it does give you some ease of mind if you are further out, and it works. But well, in all honesty, I just as well could have gone with an XSR receiver for this quadcopter. I never really fly it that far away. Yeah, I could, because the flight time is very good. Even if you hammer it, you can easily get to 5 minutes. And if you fly it smoothly, you can easily get to 10 minutes. On a 900, I think. I fly it on a 900 milliamp hour 4S. There's a link to the Hyperion LiPo I use in this quadcopter. And there's also a link to the memory card I use for this Runcam Split Mini 2S. To be honest, I was a bit hesitant in using off-brand, non-brand memory cards, but by now I have a lot of those. The goldish one you'll see in the description works. I use those in a lot of cameras. Works. Okay, let's switch to the onboard footage of today's flights, while I give you a final roundup of this GepRC Cygnet. When I ordered it, I assumed it wouldn't be all that powerful, all that fast, more a cinematic cruiser, if you will. And it's definitely a cinematic cruiser, but it's faster, more powerful than I had expected. And again, I fly it on a pretty big LiPo, a 900 milliamp hour 4S. And I had expected it to be sluggish with that LiPo. It is not. It's pretty peppy. You can definitely freestyle the quadcopter with a heavy LiPo like that. Ordinarily, I'd say that a 750 milliamp hour 4S would be ideal. I went for a long flight time. I have other quadcopters that I fly if I want to go really fast. I hope that makes sense. But if you want a more general purpose setup for a cinematic quadcopter such as this GepRC Cygnet, again, I'd go for a 700 milliamp hour-ish 4S. I have not had any major crashes with this quadcopter. I've had some minor crashes. And my findings on this complete package are that sometimes in a minor crash that Runcam split will shut down. I'm not sure how to call it, but the image goes black. The recording you'd then have isn't gone. It's a good recording you then have, but you need to power cycle the quadcopter to well, get your FEV feedback. At first I thought, oh, my Runcam split is broken, but well, again, a simple power cycle and my image was back. And apart from that, I've only replaced propellers on this quadcopter. Yeah, again, like I said, I don't like the prop mounts with those tiny screws. If you end up having to replace a propeller in the field, you will lose those tiny screws. And that's the reason why I don't like these prop mounts. Maybe it's, well, I don't think it's a personal thing. I definitely prefer the normal one lock nut props. You have a better range of propellers you can choose from with those prop mounts as well. And yeah, like I said before, GepRC doesn't make electronics, so that flight stack, the ESCs and the flight controller, etc., they simply buy from some company, I don't know which company, but the downside of that is that this stack, this flight controller, doesn't have a lot of UARTs, and you don't have access to telemetry. The only telemetry you really have is for RSSI, which is definitely a downside. And you can, if you are knowledgeable about Betaflight, you can rectify that, but you'd have to give up the LED controller. Basically, you would have to use the UART for the LED controller for your telemetry. And that's definitely a downside. So if you are put off by that, I'd suggest just ordering the bare frame, because again, it's a very nice frame, and then use, well, any kind of electronics and maybe a different HD recorder, right? Maybe a 4K camera by now. But well, basically I am actually happy with the entire Runcam split setup stuff. I was a bit worried first time the camera blacked out after a crash, but well, again, power cycling it resolved that. And that's basically it. Yeah, again, I very much like this frame, which is why I have a lot of GepRCs, I guess. They really know how to make nice looking and smart frames. Yeah. And yeah. Okay, if you are left with questions, hit me up a comment down below. I hope this long-term review was helpful to you, and catch you on the next video. I will leave you with the rest of my flights. Bye bye.